वैष्णविंद की और जगन्नाथ रथ यात्रा स्नान यात्रा की।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। 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 Now read the invocation prayer, which is on page 1 of the introduction. Find it. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Tam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Paridana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakambikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tata Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Paramami Hari Priye Manchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu
Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. It's nice to be back. Seeing some new faces. Very nice. Thank you for joining us. So, we are discussing now the third chapter. What did we discuss last week? Since I was not here, I need a recap. Where's our instructor? General discussion.
Remembering Krishna.
Remembering how do we remember Krishna in whatever activities we do?
How to remember Krishna in whatever activities we do. We were likely discussing the 7th chapter. Yes, Krishna is giving very nice knowledge of the Absolute, and how we can see the Lord in every activity that we undertake. And by seeing the Lord in all of our activities, we become grateful and appreciative of the great gifts the Lord has given us. And by that gratitude and gratefulness, the heart actually becomes uplifted and purified, and it begins to experience and feel this peace and satisfaction. And that gratefulness and gratitude is shown through our bhakti, our devotion to the Lord. So, this is a very special time of the year in our Vedic calendar and in our ISKCON calendar, because we have very nice festivals coming up. What festivals are coming up? How many have been to Snan Yatra before? Oh wow. How many have not been? Just like, oh, I'm so happy for all of you. I can only beg and plead at your feet, please come and experience this festival on Sunday. It is the most, in my opinion, one of the most exquisite and ecstatic experiences. Snan Yatra is a great opportunity for us. 364 days out of the year, the Lord resides on the altar. And there He is worshipped by the different pujaris in very prescribed ways. One must work through several levels of qualification to be able to perform this very intimate service. But Lord Jagannath, being Lord of the universe and being the most compassionate, most loving, most ecstatic, on this day of Snan Yatra, He'll come off the altar onto the temple room floor. Not on the floor, but in a beautiful bathing mandap that will be created. And there, all of us will have an opportunity to perform bathing or abhishek of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, His beloved brother, Lord Balaram, and their ever-beloved sister, Mother Subhadra. And it is a very rare opportunity for us to be able to experience such an intimate service of the Lord. And the Lord is inviting us not just to perform that service, but He is inviting us into a loving relationship with Him. And by performing some of these different activities, this love of the Lord awakens within our heart. We all have this natural hankering to love and to be loved. It is an instinct of all living entities. Humans and non-humans. All have an instinct to love and to be loved. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead is teaching us in this Bhagavad Gita that when one understands where to repose their love, where to direct their love, then one will find the ultimate satisfaction. So we love so many things in life. We love our bank account. We love our new car. We love our home. We love this, our green card, our passport, our vacation that's coming. We love so many things, even people, relationships. But we know that love is never fully complete. It is never fulfilled entirely. There's always some dissatisfaction. Krishna says that when you become his devotee, manmana bhava mad bhakto majjaji mam namaskuru, one then experiences the complete satisfaction that we are all searching for. Nobody is looking for incomplete satisfaction. We want it fully. We want it without any byproducts. And that exists in one place, and that is with our loving relationship with the Lord. And this loving relationship with the Lord is something that is eternal to each and every living entity. It is actually the natural instinct of each and every one of us to have a deeply, profound, loving relationship with God. But why it doesn't feel natural today? It is just like a diamond. If I stick a diamond in the mud and I pull it out, we know a diamond has a natural characteristic to sparkle. But when I pull it out of the mud, is it sparkling? Why? It is?
Sparkling, isn't it?
It's covered. But has the sparkling potential been lost in that diamond? What do we have to do to bring back the original, natural, sparkling capability of that diamond? What do we need to do?
Remove the dust.
We need to remove the dust. We have to apply some process to remove the dust. The removing of the dust, does that create the sparkling capability in the diamond, or was it already there? It's already there. It is natural to the diamond. But it is covered. It is not perceivable when I pull it out of the mud. So in the same way, the natural instinct of every living entity is to be in a loving relationship with the Supreme Lord. But that instinct, that emotion is covered. Now my natural instinct is to love everything but. Everything but. But the natural instinct is, so by the process of bhakti, by the process of devotional service, what we are doing is simply removing the mud from the diamond of our heart, the spirit soul, and awakening this natural loving instinct of the Lord. So when we participate in festivals like this upcoming Snanayatra, we are taking off gigantic portions of this covering and reawakening this relationship. The energy, the experience, the bliss one will feel by a seemingly simple activity. Pouring some milk or other stuff on this, what some will call inappropriately a wood idol. How that experience can become so sweet, it is because it is not a wood idol. It is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Non-different than that same Lord that we all hanker to see. Let me see, then I'll believe. The Lord has assumed this Archa Vigraha form so that we may begin to develop this relationship with Him. If we don't get to see the form of the Lord, how we will come to love Him? We cannot love something we don't know. So He's taking this form. And He is offering an opportunity for us to interact at a very personal level. It is the great fortune. And Srila Prabhupada, by His unlimited mercy, 50 years ago, exactly, we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the worldwide Rath Yatra festival. We all know Rath Yatra has been going on for thousands of years in Shri Kshetra Dham, Shri Jagannath Puri Dham, in the most elaborate and wonderful way. But Lord Jagannath, we know, is not Lord of just Puri, or just Lord of Orissa, or just Lord of India. He is Lord of the universe. He is Lord of the universe. And now, due to the great mercy of the Supreme Lord, Lord Jagannath is rolling down the streets all over the world. 6 continents. Now, Lord Jagannath's Rath Yatra is taking place. Virtually every day there are 2 Lord Jagannath Rath Yatra festivals taking place. Every nationality, every race, every gender, every age, truly proving the universality of the love of the Supreme Lord. And by the great mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we have been able to celebrate here in the Detroit area for many years. This is our 32nd, 33rd year of celebrating Rath Yatra. So, July 23rd, 10 days from today, we'll be celebrating the grandest party of Lord Jagannath. He is coming out of the temple. Every other day we have to go to the temple to see Him. But on this day, He is coming out. He is coming out to see all of His beloved children. They're all children of the Lord. And by seeing the Lord sitting on this giant chariot, decorated with beautiful flower garlands and wonderful offerings, the mood of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so ecstatic that we cannot but help feel some of that same energy and love. So that will be taking 10 days from now. But prior to that, there is the pastime of Snani Yatra, where the Lord is taken and given wonderful bathing, and then He takes to a pastime of becoming sick, having been taken too much bath, too cold. And so, for 1 week, from this Sunday until the following Sunday, Lord Jagannath will not be visible to the public. He will be behind the altar, taking very special worship, being quote-unquote nursed back to health. Of course, He is the Supreme Lord. He does not get sick like us. He does not have a material body like us. Our body wears down. Our body gets tired. But the Supreme Lord's body is Satchitananda. It is eternal, full of bliss, no suffering. But to give His devotees an opportunity to serve Him in some different ways, He performs these pastimes. So in this way, we will not see Him for 7 days. And then we'll see Him in a very grand way. So next Sunday, this coming up 5 days from today, please come, bring your friends, family, loved ones, even people you don't know. Just tell them there's a free meal. Whatever it takes. But bring. The Lord is so loving. He doesn't expect any qualification. He will not be asked for any identification. He will not be asked for any credentials. He will not be asked for anything. The only credential we need is desire and mercy from the Lord. That's it. Who gives us such a benefit and opportunity? So this is the great celebration that we are starting. So we'll be celebrating in many, many different ways. We'll also be celebrating with a wonderful personality. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj will be amongst us, blessing all of us, to have the association of a pure devotee of the Lord in celebration of one of these grand festivals just takes our experience to a whole new level, guiding us on how to perform these festivals. So there will be many programs leading up to the Rath Yatra. So next Friday, July 21st, there will be a program just 5 minutes from here. What fortune we all have that a great personality is coming just 5 minutes from here is great fortunate. So we'll send an email out with the location of that program. My humble request is that all of you please come and join for this opportunity. It will be Friday evening. There will also be a program Saturday in Novi, and then of course Sunday. So please take advantage of all of these as much as you can.
Where in Novi?
Novi will be at the Novi Civic Center. At the Novi Center, just at the site.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the Saturday program.
Saturday program will be there too. So we'll have a pre-Rath Yatra celebration. With all of the volunteers and devotees who are working hard. And if you would like to participate in the festival, we also have many, many service opportunities. So we can discuss afterwards. So now we've been discussing chapter 3, which is explaining karma yoga. And if we recall, Arjuna was asking a question at the beginning of this chapter about spirituality. And asking, is spirituality equivalent or equated to renouncing all my responsibilities and duties? And Krishna said, what was Krishna's answer? No. Was he ambiguous or was he very clear? Explicitly clear. He said, no, you must do your duty. But do your duty in an intelligent way. What is the meaning of doing your duty in an intelligent way? How do we do our duty? Without making any mistakes in the office?
Without expecting any result.
Without expecting anything and doing in service. Like Krishna in mind.
So in essence, surrendering the results, right? Detaching from the fruits. He said, do your duty, but you leave the fruits back. And the benefit of leaving the fruits back is not that the Lord is going to benefit. Who is going to benefit from detaching from the fruits? Because if we remain attached to the fruits, we then continue in this cycle of trying to find happiness through all the different means that we have been trying for millions of lifetimes. Trust me, it is not just this lifetime we have been trying. It has been going on for millions of lifetimes. But Krishna is telling his dear friend Arjuna, but really telling to all of us, that the secret to finding this eternal peace and happiness is performing your activities in the matter of yajna, meaning sacrifice. And we must sacrifice the fruits of our work. Because we are not the creator of the fruits in the first place. Whatever it is that we create within this world, it comes from facilities and abilities given by. Is there a single thing we have been able to create without the benediction from the Supreme Lord? Anything? Not even one thing? Not even one grain of rice we can grow without the benediction of the Lord. Without the sunlight and the water and the soil and the seed. How we have any hope of even growing a single grain of rice? So Krishna says that I have provisioned everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam avartate. I'm the source of everything. Inanimate, I have given. But I have also given to you, right? He says, Ishabasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jigat yam jigat. Tena tatena bunjitaha magataha ashisvidanam. Says, everything is coming from me, but don't worry. I have given everyone sufficient resources to live a very peaceful and happy life. But we should not lose sight of who is providing. So Krishna says, you perform your activities. But if we detach from the fruits, then we'll find peace and happiness. So this is the instructive part of what Krishna is saying. And ultimately, we want to sacrifice the results to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? Because He is our eternal Father. So now in the 11th verse, Krishna is speaking about another type of sacrifice, another type of yajna. And so we'll understand this yajna and see how that should affect what we should perform. Yes. You can read.
Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu va parasparam bhavayanta shreya param avapsyataha. The demigods, being pleased by sacrifices, will also please you. And thus, by cooperation between men and demigods, prosperity will reign for all. Purport. The demigods are empowered administrators of material affairs, the supply of air, light, water, and all other benedictions for maintaining the body and soul of every living entity is entrusted to the demigods, who are innumerable assistants in different parts of the body of this personality of God. Their pleasures and displeasures are dependent on the performance of yajnas by the human being. Some of the yajnas are meant to satisfy particular demigods, but even in so doing, Lord Vishnu is worshipped in all yajnas as the chief beneficiary. It is stated also in the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna himself is the beneficiary of all kinds of yajnas. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam. Therefore, ultimate satisfaction for the Yagnapati is the chief purpose of all yajnas. When these yajnas are perfectly performed, naturally, the demigods in charge of the different departments of supply are pleased. And there is no scarcity in the supply of natural products. Performance of yajnas has many side benefits, ultimately leading to liberation from the material bondage. By performance of yajnas, all activities become purified, as it is stated in the Vedas. Ahara suttau sattva sutti sattva sudau duva smriti lamba sarva granthina vipramokshaha. By performance of yajna, one's eatables become sanctified, and by eating sanctified foodstuffs, one's very existence becomes purified. By the purification of existence, finer tissues in the memory become sanctified. And when memory is sanctified, one can think of the path of liberation. And all these combined together lead to Krishna consciousness, the great necessity of present-day society.
Okay. So, the question becomes, so if we read the 12th verse, Krishna is saying, in charge of various necessities of the life, the demigods being satisfied by performance of yajna, sacrifice, will supply all necessities to you. But, now there's a but, but he who enjoys such gifts without offering them to demigods in return is certainly a thief. So, why must we perform sacrifice?
To get something. To get something.
Okay, to get something. That's on one level, yeah. Why else?
To sacrifice something?
To sacrifice, yeah. Why is you're saying, but he who does not is a thief? That seems like a strong statement. You're saying a thief.
Don't take everything for you.
Yeah, but if I, let's say, for example, if I have some income and I don't offer some to some charitable cause, no one will consider me a thief. Right? They may consider me not generous, or maybe not so high of character, but they wouldn't call me a thief. Right? So why is Krishna saying if one does not do yajna, one is a thief?
Because we are living in this world where it is just like living in Krishna's house and not giving him anything in return. So we are living basically at the mercy of the Lord. We are taking it from him without offering it to him. So taking it from you and without even asking you, do you want it? It is selfish. So it's a thief characteristic.
So if we come into Rajat Prabhu's home and begin to open the cabinets and begin to prepare all kinds of foodstuffs and then begin to enjoy ourselves, finish everything, maybe we'll even leave the plates for him to wash, we'll lay on the sofa, relax, ask, hey, can you turn the air conditioning up, it's a little warm in here, and we're enjoying and all, they're making so many arrangements. And after some time, we just leave. Don't even say bye, not even thank you, not even a note, certainly no stipend for the things we consume. What will Rajat Prabhu likely do? Will he consider us to be very great people? He may call the police and say, they stole from me. He is very kind, so he would never do such a thing. But the point is, we come into someone's home and we're using the facilities of their home, but we're using them selfishly for ourselves. We understand that to be not a very good activity, not an activity of high character. We would not encourage our children to do such a thing. What we would encourage our children to do? Enter someone's home, be respectful, be appreciative of what is there, ask before you do something, right? So if we think now a little bit more broadly, whose world have we stepped into? Did we create it? Did we create all the facilities that we are enjoying? Who created all of it? If Rajat Prabhu is the provider of all the facilities, all the stocking of the supplies in the cabinets and the sofas and all that, we say then he is also the enjoyer of it. If we want to enjoy his stuff, we at least have to ask him, may we enjoy with you? And he, being a very nice, loving person, will certainly allow us to enjoy with him. So similarly, if we are trying to enjoy all the resources of this world, but in defiance or ignoring who is providing those resources, are we anything but a thief? Are we? It is. So it is clear when we are, but we don't think this way because we are walking with our eyes closed. Haven't think. Wait a minute. I came into this world with nothing, and I will leave this world
without taking anything.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And everything in between point A and point B, I am simply borrowing. From who? Man's laws may define how you acquire different resources. But man's laws still have to answer to. So the Lord is saying, you must do yajna. You must do sacrifice. Because whatever it is that we're enjoying in this world to maintain ourselves is due to the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So now Krishna is speaking about the yajnas to the different devatas. Because as we know, the devatas perform a great service to the Supreme Lord. And what is their service? They follow the orders of the Supreme Lord. And what do they do specifically?
To maintain the world.
They have a certain responsibility. Some are in charge of maintaining winds, rains, fire, treasury, defense, all the different things that we require for our existence. So, but each and every devata is given a very high responsibility to provision various means. So, how does, what is the formula for the devatas to provide various necessities of life? Based on? Based on yajna. When yajna is performed, then provisions are provided. And so when yajnas are not performed, what happens?
No provision.
No rain.
Not getting what is required.
You don't get it.
Yeah.
It is. Things become very difficult. Just like if everyone is a thief, what is the result? Peace and harmony? Chaos, suffering, difficulty. Right? If everyone's a thief living within this world, then when we see all the chaos around us, is there any shock as to why? How many people are performing the appropriate yajnas? So, the performance of yajna is, at a minimum, an obligation. Meaning, we are enjoying the facilities of the world. So now, who is the ultimate beneficiary, or who ultimately receives all yajnas? How do we know that? Krishna says so. If you want to see, go to the 5th chapter, 29th verse. Bhoktaram yagna tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram surdam surva bhutanam nyakpa mam shantim dikshati. How to find peace? How to find shantim? You must know 3 things. 3 things, Krishna says. If you know these 3 things, you will find peace. 1, he says, Bhoktaram yagna tapasam. Who is the ultimate beneficiary of yajna? Krishna saying, I am. Krishna saying, he is the ultimate beneficiary of all yajna. Sarva loka maheshwaram. Sarva loka. Who is the source of all of the planets and demigods? And the 3rd thing he says, I am your ever well-wisher. What does well-wisher mean?
Always good for advice.
Always give good advice. Who are well-wishers in our life? Parents, friends,
Gurus.
teachers, gurus. And so Krishna is saying, who is our ultimate well-wisher?
Karma. That is Krishna.
Surdam Sarva. Sarva, of every living entity. Not just the ones he likes. Like, we are well-wishers of people we like. Some envious person comes to us, some person who we don't like, we keep away. Because we are biased. But Krishna is unbiased. He is the well-wisher of every living entity. So he says, if you know these 3 things, you achieve peace. So here Krishna is saying that you can perform yajna to the different devatas, because we know for certain whatever we are using, we owe someone. Nothing we are enjoying in this world is provisioned by us. Which means then we owe some amount of gratitude to someone. Now the question becomes how to repay that debt. So, we know from the scriptures how many devatas there are? 33 million. 33 million. And how many of them are we indebted to? All of them. We can ask Rajat Prabhu, you have enough wall space to post 33 million pictures so that we can offer? So now what to do? Are we stuck? Who is the... when we perform yajna to a particular devata, what do? They pass it to, specifically, Lord Vishnu. They pass the yajna to Vishnu. Then what does Vishnu do? Reciprocates back, gives them sufficient means to then be passed on. So Krishna says in the 7th chapter, if you're worshipping the devatas, you are indirectly worshipping me. So he says, I am Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam. By worshipping me, we are automatically serving the debts, all 33 million. By one single activity, all of them. Holistically, completely. It is not that if I worship Krishna, then I am ignoring. No. That is like saying, if I water the root of the tree, I am ignoring the branches. If I see a beautiful mango tree and I think, if I give some water, nice, more ripe mangoes will come. Well, I don't go and water each and every individual mango. By the time I do it, all the mangoes would fall to the ground. And the ants and everyone else would eat them. So how do I provide water to each and every mango on the mango tree? I put the water in the root. And by automatically all the mangoes are nourished. Do I have to do anything else? Do I have to say, okay, now tree, you put water this one, and don't forget the one way over here? Do we have to do? We just pour the water. So what is the root of our yajna? Bhoktaram yagna tapasam. The Supreme Lord. He is the root of everything. So we owe yajna. We owe sacrifice. But we must also then inquire how to do. What is the best means of sacrifice? How many of us have unlimited time in the day? How many of us have unlimited resources? How many of us have unlimited faith? There the hands go down. So Krishna is making it so easy for us. He says, Sarva dharmam prityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. Mam ekam. Ekam. Only me. Then I will take care of everything. Aham tom sarva papebhyo. So, yajna is required. Just like I cannot come into Rajat Prabhu's home and begin to enjoy everything he has here without taking some permission. Expressing some gratitude back. Some offering. So when we enter this world, we are also utilizing the Lord's resource. So what payment does the Supreme Lord want from us?
Faith. You have to keep the faith on Him.
Faith on Him. What else? I heard something else.
Love.
Love.
Surrender.
Rajat Prabhu's home, if I take one bag of rice and dal out of the cabinet, it means he has one less in the cabinet. Right? So to repay him, love may not be sufficient. At some point he says, you have to fill the belly also. Right? Krishna, Om Purnam Mataha Purnam Idam. He is complete. He is complete fully. Purna Purna Mudachite. Purna Se Purna Madaya. Even everything he creates, Purna Meva Vishishite. He remains still complete. So whatever we may take from the Lord, He's not missing anything. But the one thing He wants back in return is our love. Why does He want our love? Because that is our natural instinct. We are His children. What is the one thing a mother or father wants from their child? They don't want fear. They don't just want the child to fear them. God doesn't want us to fear Him. A mother and father doesn't just want a child to respect them. The completeness of the relationship is in. So similarly, the completeness in relationship to the Supreme Lord, who is the ultimate giver of everything to us, is love. So the payment that we make doesn't go on our Amex card. It comes from our heart. This bhakti, this devotion, this is the ultimate offering of love. And that is why the primary yajna in this age is Sankirtana yajna. Harinam, 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 Eva Kevalam, Kalo, Nashteva, 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 Natir Nyata. In this age of Kali, there is no other means, there is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way for deliverance. Then, chanting of the holy names, chanting of the holy names, chanting of the holy names. Krishna has given the easiest yajna process. No complicated mantras required, no elaborate facilities and arenas, no elaborate ingredients, not even special times and days and situations have to be arranged. Any time, any place, anywhere. By anyone can perform this ultimate Sankirtana Yajna. And when we perform Sankirtana Yajna, we are offering a bit of gratitude back to the Lord and taking that diamond that is covered with all the mud and slowly removing those layers of mud so that natural sparkle of pure love of the Supreme Lord can again awaken within our heart. It is there. It is there within all of us. We just have to bring it out. And we bring it out by the performance of yajna. But we must be intelligent what type of yajna to perform. And yajna ultimately to the Supreme Lord yields the eternal benefits. Krishna is going to speak in the 7th chapter quite strongly about the different types of worship. And he's going to say that if you worship me, I give you permanent results, eternal experience of peace and happiness. But worshipping the devatas, yes, you'll get some temporary benedictions, some benefits for sure, but that will not last. Just as you would not go to the doctor and ask, please cure me for a couple days, then if the sickness comes back, no problem. No, what do we want when we go to the doctor? Permanent cure. So if we're going to perform yajna, we want permanent cure from the tribulations of old age, death, disease, birth, difficulties of the body, different living entities, Mother Nature, Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, Adi Devika. We want permanent relief, not temporary relief. And the means of permanent relief is going to Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasa, the source of everything, the Supreme Personality of God. And by participating in these festivals that are coming up, we begin to experience firsthand. All of this sounds good theoretically. Yes, on paper it sounds good. But what do we need to develop faith? We want proof. Where is the proof? The proof is in experience. If you bring a gulab jamun in front of me and you say it is made with this wonderful flour and it is deep fried and soaked in a wonderful, perfectly made sugar syrup and it's sweet, I say, I don't believe you. You say, you don't believe me? Try it. No, try it. And when I try it, oh, now I believe it. Similarly, when I say we have this eternal, loving relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we say, man, that doesn't seem true. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. That is fact. Just like that gulab jamun presented to me, being sweet is also fact. Whether I accept or not is up to me, but the fact remains the fact. But how to build our faith? It is by experience. When I taste that gulab jamun, I know, yes, this is sweet. By tasting the sweetness of devotional life, we begin to experience and uncover, yes, I do have this relationship with the Lord. And it is so sweet beyond compare. This simple act of pouring water on the Supreme Lord is giving me so much happiness and enjoyment, I can't even describe it. How is that the case? I don't know. But you know what? I'll try it next year just to see if that was just a random act or it actually is true. And maybe in between I'll try it a few more times in different ways. And what happens every time we begin to perform some devotional service? Our faith builds by experience. So yes, we may collect good knowledge in a session like this, where we understand and be able to open our eyes to what is happening around us. But from here, we must take it to practice. Because by practice, then our faith will grow. And the ultimate practice for us is to take to the process of chanting the holy names of the Lord. That practice we can do every day. And by this practice every day, we're guaranteed to awaken this love, to cleanse the mirror of the heart, Cheto Darpana Marjana, and awaken this love. So it's a very practical science. It is not theoretical. This bhakti is extremely practical. Just take it, try it, and whatever way suits you, or whatever opportunities, we should follow the prescribed process. So this is personal. Any comments or questions?
Prabhuji, I have one question.
Yes?
At the end of the purport it says, Krishna consciousness, the great necessity of present-day society. In what way is Krishna consciousness like a great necessity? Because people are still living without Krishna consciousness.
And so how would we describe the condition of people living? Very good.
Like animal, like human or like animal?
The condition of society today compared to 100 years ago, better or worse? Technology today is more or less than 100 years ago. The condition of life, peace of mind is more or less than it was 100 years ago. So, man is progressing, man or humankind is progressing through society, no doubt advancing. But is the consciousness and experience of the person advancing? Without Krishna consciousness, one will not experience the true opportunity in life. Yes, one can live in defiance of the Lord. But in defiance of the Lord, the reactions of all of our activities will be forced upon us. And those reactions come in the form of so much suffering. Why there is so much conflict in this world? Why suicide rates are at the highest of the history of mankind. Why depression is so high. Disease, though advancement of modern medicine is so high, disease is more rampant than it ever was. Look at this simple idea of allergies. In India, the word allergy doesn't even exist. It wasn't there. The further we go away from nature, the further we go away from our true essence. So, but by coming to Krishna consciousness, we begin to experience and understand how to live a life. Living a life is not of any value if we're not going to do good with it. What is the point? So without Krishna consciousness in our life, we are just moving from point A to point B. But I can ask you, without some higher purpose in our life, all we are doing is simply passing time. Finding how we can make the time between point A and point B go as fast as possible with the least boredom. So at the end of my existence, if I say I have passed time without much boredom, have I really accomplished anything? The real accomplishment of the human form of life is to liberate the soul from its trapped condition in this body and bring it back to its eternal position in loving relationship with the Lord. And that occurs by becoming conscious of our supreme position. So it is the supreme need of all humanity. But it is always up to us as individuals to decide. So yes, we can have rains and suns and some basic provisions, but the quality of life will be very... If you can imagine, if 100 years ago the quality of life was better, what is the quality of life going to be 100 years from now? What about 1,000 years from now? Anybody wants to come back and experience it? Who's looking forward to it? I can't wait to see what kind of flus are around. I can't wait to see how bad the tornadoes are, and how much climate change has occurred, and how polluted the rivers and oceans are, and how degraded the foods are that we are eating. Oh, I can't wait.
Today I was talking to a friend, we were talking about Bhagavad Gita, and then she was reading Bhagavad Gita when some time back, and she had heard a class wherein people asked, like, why do we need to have God into our lives, or why do we need to have a God-centered life? So the Swamiji was giving the class. I hope that will be a grand discussion. So Swamiji he thought, and then it was a mandap where things were going on. So there were two poles and two kids were playing around there. So one kid was holding the pole and running around holding the pole, and the other kid was just running around the pole. So after some time it happened that the kid who was just running fell down because of being giddy. He just fell down. When the other kid who was holding the pole and running, he could sustain himself and he could run for a longer time. So the Swami said that those who do not have God as the center hold on to something, and that something should be Krishna. So if you are holding on to something, God will give you a helping hand and He will let you move, though in the material world, but He will help you. And if you are just running by yourself, you are bound to fall down. She was supposed to come to the class, but I don't know. She didn't manage. I guess she might hear it.
It's a nice analogy. Thank you.
It was good to hear from her.
Any other question?
Was the demigod worship was there in the previous, which was online or only?
All the devatas are positions or posts. They change every manu. With every manu, they cycle through and so all of us.
8.6 billion years.
That is one day of Brahma. So there are 14 manus and there are 71 yuga cycles. So 71 yuga cycles per manu. 14 manus, that creates the 994 in one 12-hour period.
So the scripture says that other than Lord Krishna, all are demigods.
No, there are Vishnu Tattvas. So that are all different expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we have, what? All there's one source. And Shukadev Goswami explains in Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna tu Swayam Bhagavan. Of all the different incarnations, the source is Lord Krishna. So there are many different avatars, all within the category, what we call plenary expansions, and then there are different avatars, they're all Vishnu Tattva. Then there are Jiva Tattvas, meaning we are Jiva. We have a Jiva, a soul. That means we are eternally separated, part and parcel of Krishna. So we are part and parcel, but we are eternally individual. The Jiva can take the post of a demigod. So Devata is like a post, like President of the United States is a post that is occupied by different people, different times. So the post of, for example, Lord Indra is occupied by a particular Jiva. And that post is for a certain duration, just like a term of an elected official. So they cycle through. So all of the Devatas are also Jiva Tattvas. They are very elevated Jiva Tattvas, but they fall within the category of Jiva Tattvas. But there are other personalities. Lord Shiva has his own category of Shambhu Tattva. So he is not Jiva Tattva, he is not Vishnu Tattva, he is Shambhu Tattva. Then you have Shakti Tattva, the energies, like Shrimati Radharani, Lakshmi Devi, Maya Devi, Durga Mata. These are all Shaktis, energies.
It is the part and parcel of Krishna, isn't it?
The energies?
Yeah.
Energies come from Krishna.
Yeah.
But the Jiva is part and parcel of Krishna, which means it has the same quality, but very small quantity. The example we always quote is that if you pull a drop of ocean water into your hand, the drop has the same chemical composition as the whole ocean in terms of salt-water ratio. But the amount of salt in your hand compared to the amount of salt in the ocean is very insignificant. So we are qualitatively one, but quantitatively very small. This is a simultaneously one and difference. It's achintya beda beda. A little bit technical, but it's important to understand.
But how you will differentiate the Shakti Tattva from Vishnu Tattva, means Krishna Tattva?
How will differentiate? Because they are personified energies of his. But the one way you can say Krishna is non-different from his energies. Right? So how do you differentiate between the sunlight and the sun? In one way they're the same. But when I'm feeling the sunlight, I say, no, it's different than the sun itself. So it's a little bit difficult for us to conceive. Questions, comments?
In a session like this, you provide assurance. Other days we don't have this session like this in our house. So what action we should make it a habit?
I am laughing because the next week's verse is 3:13. And in this verse, Krishna is going to make a very strong statement. And he's going to tell us that we should offer every grain that we eat first to the Lord. Not just on these sessions, not just my evening meal, not just my morning meal, not just my morning fruit and water, but every single thing that we consume, we should first offer to the Lord. So it's a very nice point and question you're raising. It's actually the exact verse we're going to discuss next week. Because every grain, every fruit is coming from where? Krishna's cabinets. So if we take without first offering to Him, what are we doing? And He says, verily eat sin. Strong statement. So we'll see next week actually that, yes, we should offer not just on auspicious days, not just on Shri Krishna Janmashtami, Ram Navami, Diwali, and these different days, not just on once a week during Bhakti Vriksha, but every day. All of our meals should be offered to the Lord. And what the Lord says, you can offer me patram pushpam phalam toyam. Fruit, leaf, flower, water. But, what is the main ingredient? Yome bhaktya parayachati. That you offer with love. He says, if you offer to me a leaf, a fruit, flower or water, with love and devotion, I will accept it. So the main ingredient is love and devotion. So we'll discuss nicely next week. Thank you.
I remember something now, when you say so. We have to offer everything what we eat first to the God. This is what happening everywhere when they are eating, they put some water in the hand and they will put this and they say Krishna Arpanamastu. Then they will eat. That was the practice originally with every human in India. But now people forgotten, and so we are modernized. We are westernized. We are Indians, but we westernized. So we forgotten. This is what you say so now. They were doing initially all the food first before eating they offer God, then they will eat that like a prasadam. Yeah.
India has the richest culture, traditions and practices, whether we understand them or not. They are so pure and perfect for human society. But we have wanted to lose that. We are losing our civilization to go backwards to Western society.
Yes.
It is so practical.
When I was young of 5 years, we were taking fruits from the plants.
Yeah.
Today, we have to purchase.
In the
it
market.
is not a fruit. It is ripened by something, by chemicals. We are eating.
I'll ask you, in India, as a child, could you ever imagine having to pay for water? The concept of paying for water. Whoever as a child thought someday I'll have to buy water. Now, can you go anywhere without buying water? This is modernization advancement. Prabhupada gave the great globalization philosophy. And he compared combining Indian and American culture. He said it is East meets West. And it is like a blind man and a lame man coming together. A blind man, though very able-bodied, cannot do much. A lame man, but very high intellect, cannot do much. But a lame man sitting on the shoulders of a blind man can accomplish a lot together. And he considered that India has the great intelligence, but the resources are not there. The West has much resources, wealth, opulence, but no understanding. And if we bring the resources of the West to the Vedic culture that comes with, wow, what a powerful combination. And that was his endeavor of global. And this is what we see in this Rath Yatra festival, this true global experience. Because we see so many amazing things. But unfortunately, by the practice of Krishna consciousness, we are bringing back our Vedic culture. Our Vedic culture is perfect. Today it almost sounds counterintuitive because society has gone so past. When we say things like, yes, you must offer everything to the Lord. As you said, everyone did it, whether ritualistically, knowing what they're doing or not, the practice was there. And now that it's not happening, we see what's the result of society. Is it better off for not doing it? Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Yeah.
Prabhu, just little technical. Like in these two verses, it is said that the sacrifices should be offered to demigod. And in Kali Yuga, the sacrifice is Sankirtan, like Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, is that the same mean to offer the sacrifice to demigods?
Krishna, hold on, let's be careful. Krishna doesn't say the demigods should be worshipped. He does not say that. He says the demigods being pleased by sacrifices will also please you. And thus, by cooperation between men and demigods, prosperity will reign for all. So, he is not saying you should worship the demigods. Because ultimately, what is he going to say? Mamekam sharanam vraja. Surrender to me. Give up everything else. So his instruction is definitive and clear. He is giving all the different options. So like any wise instructor, this one certainly not being one of them, would give all of the different options and then say what's best. So one who wants to try to enjoy the material world, yes, they can perform these yagyas, and the hopes is gradual purification, step by step. And we'll talk about this in a few verses. How by performing yajna to the devatas slowly, we will bring to understand, well then, who is the source, and ultimately come to bhakti. So for those who want to start there, it is an option. But worshipping the devatas is not the same as worshipping Krishna. Yes, in some philosophers want to say, oh, worship anyone is all the same thing. Okay? So you go to Delta Airlines and you buy a plane ticket from here to Chicago. And then you go to the gate that says, I'm going to Hawaii. Will they let you board the plane? No, you bought a ticket to Chicago. You can go to Chicago. If you wanted to buy a ticket to Hawaii, you have to buy a ticket to Hawaii. So this idea of, oh, you worship anyone, they all do the same place. No, if you worship the devatas, you'll go to their place. So this is very misconstrued in society. Krishna's instructions are clear, and we'll see more in the 5th chapter, 7th chapter, very detailed explanations. Anything else? So we'll perform our Sankirtana Yajna, the best Yajna we can do. And I beg you all, take to this Yajna process every day. This is truly the one Yajna that is very practical and easily performed. And the experience, like eating a gulab jamun, is very perceptible immediately. The experience of chanting is very tangible.
Prabhuji, I have a comment also.
Yes, please.
So, demigods, if you worship the demigods, they just give you, they don't see if it's good or not. They just give it to you. But when you worship Krishna, Krishna, since he's the Supreme Father, he knows that he gives only what is good for you.
Yes. We'll discuss that in the 7th chapter, that just like mother and father, if you ask them for ice cream, sometimes they give, sometimes they don't, based on what's good for us. But the shopkeeper will give you ice cream if you give him money. Whether it's good for you or not, the shopkeeper will give if you've given the money. So similarly, the devatas will give based exclusively on the yajna, not based on what's good for us. But Krishna, when we perform yajna to him, he gives, but only gives what's good for us. Because he has full love for us. So we'll chant one mantra before chanting the holy name of the Lord. You can repeat after me. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna, Chaitanya, Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Shri Advaita, Gadadhara, Gadadhara, Srivasari, Srivasari, Gaura, Gaura, Bhakta, Bhakta, Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. So don't forget, this Sunday, 4 o'clock, we'll start the Snani Yatra celebration, so please join us. If anybody is looking for rides, many people from Somerset will be going, so we can